Hey mates, and welcome to MtMtE. I'm your host Blind Prime, and for today we're gonna be covering Mixmaster's vehicle mode. His cement truck, it's finally done. We got Devastator. It's just, so exciting. Well, if you haven't guessed by now, Devastator is my favorite Transformer out of all of them. As a kid, he was just the one that did it for me, and I've always loved me Devastator. Devastator's just been my jam for my entire life. I've always loved the Devastator. And the fact that we finally get a Devastator that isn't Combiner Wars makes me ecstatic, because I don't know about the rest of you, but Combiner Wars Devastator for me was a bad experience. Every time I touched him, he would fall apart and I'd have to rebuild a part of Devastator. He just didn't hold together well. And I can't wait for tomorrow when we're going to be talking about the assembly of Devastator, because I got so much I want to talk about with Devastator, and I'm doing my best to hold it back for this video so that we can focus on Mixmaster and then we can focus on Devastator, because I really want to focus on Devastator. So let's talk about Mixmaster today, and while I'm at it, please go below, hit the like button, comment about, Constructacons, and of course, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. And if you want to help me raise awareness for the blind and the visually impaired, then please share my videos and my channel with your friends and your family on your social media platforms. That would go a long way to assisting me. I ask everyone I meet to please share my stuff so I can reach more blind people, because I need your help to reach them. It isn't like we see each other on the street. That's a nice blind joke for the day. Okay, let's get into it and clean this area up, because there's a lot going on my stage today. So we're gonna remove some of these Constructacons and make this a little more clean of a workspace. Let's see. Okay, move you over there, and move Road Hauler over there. There's Mixmaster. Long Haul, I'll save you because we'll talk about you first, because it's really hard to move Long Haul with this trailer. Which, by the way, I do wish that they had given us just a better way to connect Long Haul to his trailer. Like a normal trailer socket that would go straight down into a loop. That would have been amazing. Instead, it's that those two side, and you have to squeeze his legs together to connect them properly, and it never wants to connect properly. It's just like, you could have just done it the other way, the way that every vehicle in America does it. And it would have worked out pretty good. But no, you had to be weird. Okay, so let's discuss Long Haul and his trailer, and compared to Mixmaster. We're going to back Mixmaster up all the way to the end of the trailer, and Mixmaster goes to... Oh, neat. Mixmaster goes to the entire length of the trailer. Yeah, he is as long as the trailer is. Now let's bring him up here to the Long Haul and take a look, and Mixmaster and Long Haul are also about the same length. Isn't that neat? I like that. They're really close together when it comes to size, and that really works out well for this Transformer. And the fact that it makes him feel more a part of the team. Yeah. Now, we're going to move Long Haul over here to the side, because, like I said, he's difficult to move around. And let's bring in more Constructacons. You know what? We'll compare him to Road Hauler. Road Hauler, the 7th member of the Constructacon team. And it's cool that we have, two teams with 7 members, even though Road Hauler is of the opposite faction. He's an Autobot. He didn't get transformed like the rest of the Constructacons. So Mixmaster's just slightly shorter than Grapple, but not by much. I'd give it 2 Lego studs, maybe even just 1.5 Lego studs, shorter than Mixmaster. Weight-wise, they actually weigh almost the same. Road Hauler feels like he may be a little more, but no, actually, I think they are about equal on the weight side. So even though Mixmaster's a bit shorter, Road Hauler and him weigh about the same. Let's set Road Hauler over there, and let's bring in the other big guy. Where's the other big guy? Here's the other big guy, Hook. Now, Hook is the the other big, heavy guy that's in the Constructacons and Hook here. I'm going to back him up all the way. Mixmaster's actually longer than Hook, but is Mixmaster wider than Hook? Mixmaster and Hook are the same width. Isn't that nice? Do their wheels line up? Oh, wow. They're not only do their wheels line up, but I think their wheels are the same. That's cool. I like that. I didn't even look at that on others, but I think these are the ones that have the... Yeah, no, all their wheels are the same. They have matching hubcaps. That I'm so happy about that. That makes me happy. Now, weight-wise, they weigh about the same, though it does feel like Hook weighs more. Hook does feel like he's a bit more compressed and has a bit of a more weight to him than Mixmaster, but it's not by much. It's not by much at all. And yeah, the top of Mixmaster's yeah, there we go. The top of Mixmaster's roof and the top of the little pilot compartment for Hook are on the same level, and that's cool. Okay, we're gonna move Hook over here. I like how these guys are comparing, and they just feel like a team. It just feels like a team. Now let's get the last wheelie guy. Here he is, the last wheelie guy. The rest of them are the caterpillars. Okay, so let's take a. Oh, what happened to you? Huh? Why are you acting weird? What's going on with you? What mistransformed? What mistransformed you? You got problems? Weird. He does have problems. Oh. Problems fixed. Something didn't quite transform. Alright, so let's compare and back him up all the way. So actually, if we raise his scoop up, we learned that Mixmaster's actually really long compared to Scrapper. Scrapper seems like he needs to be a bit longer. Their vehicle modes are very interesting in that we back them up, and wow, that is a major difference. And that's one of the reasons I don't like Scrapper, because Scrapper just... he doesn't have the same oomph to him as other Voyager classes have had. Scrapper just... he is the Bumblebee of Voyager classes. That's what it is. I figured it out. Okay? He is the Earthrise Bumblebee of Voyager classes. He's just so small. Compared to all the other Voyagers I've compared Scrapper to, Scrapper is the smallest of the Voyagers. And that's a shame, because he's the leader of the Constructacons. So, talk about, short king attitude. We're going to set Scrapper off over to the side. But, wait, before I do, weight-wise, they're the same weight. They are almost spot-on exact. Width-wise, interestingly enough, Scrapper's wider. And that's something else. Like, how is one foot going to, one leg wider than the other? It's weird. You would think they'd be the same. So we're going to set Scrapper over here and talk about the two caterpillared constructed vehicles. Here is Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher with his double guns, because Bone Crusher can hold some guns, and I decided to put the big purple thing on him because I couldn't find another place to put the stupid big purple gun that is the centerpiece for Devastator's chest. We're going to raise up Bone Crusher's blade and compare them. There we go. Bone Crusher goes all the way to the back of the front wheel when you're not counting the blade. So he goes from the rear of Mixmaster all the way to the back of the front wheel for Mixmaster. Size-wise, Mixmaster's definitely taller. And weight-wise, Mixmaster definitely has the weight on Bone Crusher, but Bone Crusher feels dense. Like, Bone Crusher is a dense little rock of a transformer. So that's Bone Crusher and him compared. And I think it looks out pretty good. Width-wise, Bone Crusher and him are about the same width. Let's take a look at that. Yeah. Mixmaster is slightly wider than Bone Crusher, but not by much. Now the final caterpillared vehicle we have to talk about is Scavenger, my favorite Constructicon. I like Scavenger. So Scavenger here is, wow, he's shorter than Bone Crusher, and he goes just to the end of the arm that's on the side of Mixmaster here. So wheels, arm, yeah. That is Scrapper. He goes all the way to the end of that arm, and weight-wise, Scrapper is one of the lighter Constructicons out there. He definitely weighs a lot less than Mixmaster. And that's the Constructacons. I think that Mixmaster is a great addition to the other Constructicons, as it is a couldn't get the words out. As he compares to the other Constructicons, I think he works out pretty well. He merges with the other team nicely. Now, let's compare him to another Mixmaster. But we're not going to compare him to CW Mixmaster, because I sold that piece of garbage ages ago. We're going to compare him to RotF Mixmaster, because, why not? Why not compare him? And first and foremost, out of the gate, RotF Mixmaster's definitely the bigger guy. He's longer than Studio Series 86 Mixmaster. He is much longer, but that's because he does have some parts forming here at the front, so we can forgive the longness because they cheat to make this Mixmaster longer. Now, when it comes to weight-wise, ooh, they're close, but RotF Mixmaster has the weight. RotF Mixmaster also has the rattle. This guy kind of has SS86 Mixmaster kind of has a rattle to him. Now, the biggest thing I want to talk about is the letdown with this Constructacon Mixmaster 86 is because there's always a small letdown. Even with the best of the best, there's always something that I imagined that they didn't do quite to the way I imagined it. And that's always on me because, I can't see what's going on, so my imagination just runs with it. And sometimes my imagination makes up something that is a lot better than what they give us. And sometimes my imagination makes up something that's a lot worse than what they give us. And when it comes to Mixmaster here, it's kind of messa. It's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. Like, I love the Mixmaster shape. I like all this shape works out. But when it comes to his cement barrel, that's my negative on this vehicle mode. This cement barrel just feels slightly too small. Where we have this cement barrel for RotF Mixmaster, and that one feels like it's the correct size. I just kind of wish they had managed to figure out a way to just kind of give us something that was, because it's a little too big for our 86 Mixmaster. RotF Mixmaster's cement barrel's a bit too big for 86, but 86 Mixmaster's barrel's a bit too small for 86. So you're looking for a nice little way between, because see, when you run your hands down the sides of Mixmaster, RotF Mixmaster's barrel, you get that the barrel goes to almost either side. But there's like half a Lego stud in difference between the side of the barrel and the actual side of the vehicle. Here on 86 Mixmaster, that's almost 2 Lego studs from the side of the barrel to the side of the vehicle. This barrel's not wide enough. It's close. It's close. But that's what happens whenever you take something that is of one size and you just lower its size down. You descale it. You have to be careful when descaling items, because when you descale them, when you lower them down and reduce their scale, you can have issues where some numbers don't line up right. Like, yeah, they may line up correct when it comes to the math, but when it comes to the aesthetics of what it looks like, that may not be right. Even though this barrel may be mathematically correct on the descaling, it's not aesthetically correct on the descaling. It needs to be just a smidge, like a Lego stud wider in all directions. So, look at the diameter and just increase that diameter by like 2 millimeters. And that probably will fix the problem with this barrel. I think it will, actually. No probably about it. It is so close to perfect with the barrel of this that it's just that little bit off. It's just that little bit off. Otherwise, yeah, the details on RotF Devastator when it comes to the textures and the line work and everything is so much better than 86 Devastator. And yeah, I know they were trying to give us an animation correct kind of thing, but still, I do appreciate little extra things. Like, I just appreciate those little extras, those little extra details. For instance, with this Mixmaster, we have a bulldog on here. He's got a little decoration on his hood. He's got a little bulldog decoration on his hood. And Why is that? Why doesn't this Mixmaster get some cool decorations like that? You know, he doesn't even get, does he even get windshield wipers? He does at least get windshield wipers, but come on. We could have gotten some really cool vents in there, or something like that. The details are lackluster when you compare these two. It's the difference of, you know, water and oil, looking at the sheer textures and sculpt work and detail in RotF Devastator compared to 86 Devastator. And, you know, that's the difference between live action and cartoon, I guess. With cartoon, they can ease around corners and skip over corners. Even if it's based on a real life vehicle, they can cut as many corners as they want. And with the live action stuff, people would have gotten upset if this didn't look like a mixing truck or a cement truck you can see on the road. They would have gotten very upset by that, I think. You know, I was upset by its scale because it messed with everything. But anyway, we are done comparing cement trucks together. So let's finally just get into the meat and potatoes of this guy and talk about the way he feels after I've gone over everything else. Like I can't stop talking about how I'm happy that we have him and how well he fits. Like the only negative I have on this Devastator is the barrel, and the barrel needs to be a little bit wider. But that's all. So coming in from the rear, we do have another little thing that I wish they had found a way maybe to like have this chunk here, because there's this piece that slides onto Devastator's leg, and they just make it the back of the vehicle there. With Scrapper, they hid the connection port very well, and I appreciate that. But with Mixmaster here, it's just this big slidey thing, and it really messes with me that we get this. And now the way they designed it, it's supposed to be very similar to how this Mixmaster does, where you see there are these little trays and stuff that are all folded up and come down to the rear of the cement truck to allow the cement to flow. He even has this little tube, and the tube has the collapsed up end on the end of it that can fold down to allow it to be moved around. This one, not exactly the same, but they do feel how with the textures here, they tried their best to make it like these trays and this tube, and that's kind of what you're getting here. You're getting these little trays on either side. Like it feels like the cement comes out of the barrel and it goes down into that section and comes out at the bottom. Now, if they'd given us a little bitty piece to fold out to make the end of a tube, I think that would have been awesome, because that was something about RotF Mixmaster I really appreciated, was this odd little tube at the back. It's like those attentions to detail really rocked me and made me really, really love the Studio Series line. And I was hoping that we would get similar attention to detail here. You know, little things like that. And I get it. This is all about making the Devastator. But with the RotF Devastator, the RotF Constructacons, it felt like it wasn't just making the RotF Devastator. It was making each individual Constructacon their own unique transformer that had their own little style and things about them. And I get it. We're making a team here, but it could have been a little extra. Could have been a little extra, especially since we're paying more for these things than we did for, because this RotF Mixmaster cost me $30.99, and this 86 Mixmaster cost me $35.99. I paid $5 more for this guy than I did for the other guy, and I would just hope a little more detail, so we've got. Now, speaking of detail, let's continue, because I've been nitpicking on this little back end, because it's just an eyesore. Now, on the sides, it doesn't feel like he's got rear tail lights, which is a shame. They usually give us tail lights. Maybe that's what this little area is on either side of the mixing tray area, but I'm not sure. I do like my tail lights. Now, we do have some nice corrugated metal texture on either side of the barrel for people to stand above the wheels. The wheel wells are covered by this corrugated metal texture. It's got a nice sound to it. I really like it. The barrel itself, smooth, sleek. It feels all right. I do wish we had gotten in some etched Decepticon symbols, though. Like, I get, if we're not going to have so much attention to detail, or we're not going to do as much detail as we did with RotF Mixmaster, okay, fine. At least at least, please, for this blind fan of Transformers, can you start getting the Autobot symbols and the Decepticon symbols etched into the Transformers? I would absolutely love it. It would be my dream to have them etched in. And I think you can do it. I don't think that it'd be a problem to put those etchings into the molds. And I get it, it would be difficult to reuse that mold, but you would solve that problem with Armada Optimus Prime by giving us an etched-in Autobot symbol that we can plug into 5mm ports. And you could do the same here with these guys. And all Transformers could have etched-in faction symbols that you could take out and replace. And I think that would be a cool play feature. So our Thundercracker we could just take off his Decepticon symbols and replace them with Autobot symbols if we wanted to. Please, if anybody, Evan, if you're watching this, please start figuring out how to do that, because I think that would be awesome. I think a lot of people would find it awesome to be able to switch the factions for their Transformers. You know, Mixmaster could be a Decepticon one day, but he could be going back to being an Autobot the next. That would be awesome. Anyway, back to Mixmaster. Sorry, I keep going on these little tangents today. Because I'm excited. So the wheel wells, we talked about these wheels before. They're the same as with Hook. I do like how his arms become the big old fuel tanks for Mixmaster here, but I don't like that these arms don't connect. They're just loosely hanging there, and that's annoying. There's a little spot there that could have had a little connection port in it, like what they did with where are you at? Where are you at, you stupid Scrapper? Here he is. Okay, so Scrapper here does something similar with his arms. Like, his arms could have just been laying there. But what did they do? They gave us this little port on the side, right up here at the top corner of the arm, and it sticks out just a bit. And then there's this little port on the side of Scrapper, and that little arm fits into that little port. There it goes. Yeah, just like so. It's easy, and it's simple, and it makes sure the arm is one of the sturdier parts of this Transformer. I can just hold him by the arm and shake him about, and nothing's going to happen. Yeah, that's cool. If I hold this guy by the arm and shake him about, look at that. And just, the arm folds. It's just not working. It's just not working for me. You could have given us a little piece to connect. That would have been just a smidge, just a tiny piece. Just a tiny piece. All right. Now, in front of the barrel, between the cab of the truck and the barrel, we have this little bit that sticks out, and it's reminiscent of the bit that sticks out for RotF Mixmaster. That's the engine there. That big old blocky thing is the engine that spins the barrel. And if you feel at the top of it, that's actually where the ports go if you want to put him on a flight stand. Now, I don't like the fact that it's there. Like, it could have been, I don't know why they decided to make the port sticking up towards the ceiling, because when you turn him in, it's hidden in Devastator mode. But still, that little port sticking up to the ceiling does throw me off. I kind of wish that there was a way to cover it. Now, that's enough on that part. Now, we come over here to the cab, and the cab is extended. We've got an extended cab because of the way the transformation works, and these little side bits are actually doors that fold out. And this is where most of the detail occurs, is in the cab. Like before, there hasn't been that much texture. It really hasn't. It's been lackluster on the guys. Until you get them up here to the cab, where we got some window textures all the way around. That's pretty nice. We got two big doors. And so he's definitely not on the same scale as the rest of the Constructicons. That's a shame. It would be nice if they all just kind of stay in the same scale in robot and vehicle mode. But I know I'm asking for too much whenever I ask for that. Let's see. We got a front wheel, works very well. The wheel well around it's very nicely done. We've got some good sculpt work going on there. On the sides, we've got some wonderful, more sculpt work. We've got the lights. We got some lights up here at the front finally, and we've got a nice vent. We got big old vents for the engine. Really well done. And then we have our bumper here at the front with a couple of etchings into it, and those little hollow bits where they can put in some beepers or something like that, I guess. I don't know. Maybe fog lights? But it's even got a little license plate spot in the front. And it'd be cool if we had gotten I mean, there's feels like maybe that's a license plate spot in the rear, but it's all right. Now we come up here to the roof, and the roof is a bit haphazard because I wish there had been a little more, a couple more pieces to fold out to cover up this gappage going on here. If we take out his gun, then that's supposed to be acting as like a smokestack, we get this huge gappy zone right behind the cab. And I think all of that could have been covered up with some easily folded out pieces. These little side doors could have had an extra piece that folds up on each of them, and those pieces could have connected in the center and rested on this back panel that has that port in it. And then we would have gotten a complete cab without these two gaps going down on either side. And they do ruin the top of the vehicle mode, in my opinion. It's not nice. You can feel the leg joints in there, and it's a shame that this is what it is right here, because I was really hoping that we would get kind of a better cab with this. Honestly, the cab for CW was better at least at the top than this cab, and that's a shame, because this guy is way better than CW Devastator in just about every way, except for his cement barrel is too small, and his cab has these deagle holes in the top of it. And it's like Megatronus with those two giant gaps. Like, why? Why are they there when you could have... there were little pieces of plastic that could totally cover the gaps. You could have made it look beautiful. Instead, it just looks good. But it could have been perfect with just a smidge more work. Just a smidge more work, I think. It could have been amazing. But it's good. It is really good overall. And I think this vehicle mode deserves an A ranking. It's not the S ranking I was hoping it would be, but it's the A ranking because it holds together. We don't have anything that falls apart. It's a very sturdy transformer. The transformation's all right. And the vehicle mode, though it has its flaws, I think that this is a much better Mixmaster than what we got with CW. Yeah, there's parts of the CW Mixmaster that I like better than 86 Mixmaster, but as a whole, I like 86 Mixmaster so much more than I like CW Mixmaster. And I definitely like 86 Mixmaster's transformation so much more than I like RotF Mixmaster's transformation. So, final grades and thoughts for Mixmaster. We gave his robot mode an A+, we gave his transformation a B+, and we gave his alt mode an A. I think that deserves an A. Or is that an A-? Let's do the math in my head. Yeah, I think that makes it an A- transformer. So not too bad, not too shabby, really good overall, definitely better than other Transformers. He definitely feels good in the hand. I can't stop saying that. This guy's plastic feels so much better to me than CW Devastator. CW Devastator feels like absolute garbage compared to the way that this feels when it comes to the plastic. The plastic that they used to make 86 Devastator, I love it much more than whatever that trashy plastic it was being used in CW. That was horrid stuff. I hate touching it. I don't like it at all. I have this thing about textures and how things feel, and this guy feels so much better. I like touching this guy a lot more than I ever liked touching CW Devastator. I think this is a great addition to your collection, and I think this is a good finisher for Devastator as a whole. I wish they had finished with Scavenger instead of Mixmaster, because I think Scavenger was the strongest vehicle mode out of the bunch. But then again, I am biased when it comes to Scavenger. I like my little guy. Like I like Scrap Iron too. I like that type of construction vehicle. The big arm bucket thing is just my favorite. Anyway, I've blathered on long enough about this Transformer. I am excited about tomorrow. I'm so excited about tomorrow. I get to build Devastator with you. Oh, so please share with all your friends and tell them to tune in tomorrow as a blind guy teaches you verbally how to assemble Devastator. Until next Prime, bye-bye for now.